Jordan Spieth dropped a major bombshell that has put the PGA Tour in a serious dilemma. The three-time major champion stood at a podium in Miami and did what most players are too scared to do. He asked the tough question that everyone is thinking but nobody wants to address. Should things be different for the players who sued the tour and gave up their membership? One sentence, 7 words, and suddenly the future of professional golf became far more complicated. The Saudi funding has dried up. LIV Golf is barely surviving, and now the man who helped lead the fight is demanding that the defectors face real consequences. The date was April 30th, 2026. The Cadillac Championship at Trump National Doral in Miami was in full swing when Jordan Spieth signed for a brilliant 7 under 65, his best round of the season. The crowd was electric. The broadcast crew was raving about his iron play, but the reporters waiting in the media center weren't interested in birdies. They wanted answers about LIV Golf. The Saudi Public Investment Fund had just confirmed it would stop funding LIV Golf after the 2026 season. The unlimited money that had backed the Rebel League for 4 years, the same money that tempted Jon Rahm, Bryson DeChambeau and Cameron Smith away from the PGA Tour, was officially ending. Representatives for several LIV players had already contacted the PGA Tour to discuss possible returns. Spieth, who served on the Player Advisory Council during the toughest days of the split, was asked the question everyone had been avoiding. What should happen to the players who walked away? His response was calm, thoughtful, and brutally honest. "I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it should be the same for everyone," Spieth told the reporters. "I know olive branches were extended a couple of months ago. Brooks accepted it, so I'm not sure what changes now." Brooks Koepka had returned to the PGA Tour in January 2026. The cost was enormous. A $5 million charitable donation, no access to PGA equity shares for 5 years, a potential loss of $50 to $85 million, no FedEx Cup bonus money for 2026 and no sponsor exemptions into signature events. He had paid a heavy price. He was back, but Spieth wasn't referring to Koepka. If there's one system for Brooks and another for Patrick Reed, does it stay the same for guys in the same situation as them returning now, or does it change? Spieth asked. Then came the line that sent shockwaves across the golf world. Does it change for guys who sued and dropped their membership? The players who sued include the 11 golfers, such as Bryson DeChambeau, Phil Mickelson, Ian Poulter, and Taylor Gooch, who filed an antitrust lawsuit against the PGA Tour in August 2022. The lawsuit claimed that the PGA Tour's rules were unfair restraints of trade that stopped independent contractors from working with competitors. The case was eventually dismissed under the June 2023 Framework Agreement, but the bitterness from that legal fight has not disappeared. Spieth, who was present during those negotiations, knows exactly how deep those scars run. "There's just a lot of different things that happened over the last 4 years," Spieth said. These players didn't just leave the PGA Tour for bigger paychecks. They actively tried to destroy the organization that had made them wealthy. They filed lawsuits. They hired top antitrust lawyers. They spent millions attempting to break the tour's business model. Now, with Saudi money gone, they want to return. Spieth's question went straight to the core issue. Should they receive the same treatment as Brooks Koepka, who never sued, or should the punishment be harsher? Should they wait longer, pay more, or make a public apology? The 3-time major winner made it clear he didn't want to be the one making those final calls. "I'm kind of glad I'm not in that room, and I trust the guys who are in that room to make the right decision," Spieth said. He wasn't the only one thinking this way. As word of LIV's funding collapse spread through the locker room at Trump National Doral, other players shared similar concerns. Brian Harman, the 2023 Open champion, was more blunt. "I think there should be something," Harman said. "I'm not smart enough to tell you exactly what that is, that's other people's jobs." But he explained the reason clearly. "I think that would help with some of the bad blood and some of the resentment. There's still some sentiment out here, especially with all the lawsuit stuff. That stuff going to be tough to get past." The antitrust lawsuit filed by 11 LIV players in 2022, the legal war that nearly ripped the tour apart, remains the main source of that resentment. "We play with all those guys in the majors," Harman acknowledged. "So yeah, I think there should be a path back, but a path back is not the same as a welcome." He made it clear that returning players would have to earn their spot. Cameron Young, currently one of the hottest players on the PGA Tour with 2 wins in his last 3 starts, gave a diplomatic yet firm response. "I think having Brooks back has been great," Young said. "But honestly, it's not for me to decide. I don't know what any of those guys are thinking. I don't know what's going to happen with LIV." The message was clear: Brooks was accepted. The others were not automatically. Lucas Glover, the newly elected chairman of the Player Advisory Council who will join the PGA Tour Policy Board in January, was the most straightforward. "Human beings are human beings," Glover said. "I will never begrudge anybody for making a decision for the betterment of their career or their life." Then came the strong condition. "But do I think they should follow the same pathways back and pay the same penalties that others have paid? Absolutely, not maybe, not we'll see, absolutely." When asked if the return path would be the same for players who sued the tour, Glover's reply was revealing. "I'm not privy to those phone calls," he said. "There have always been pathways back with penalties. So yeah, it can be done. As we've seen, it's already happened a couple of times. I'm sure the tour is working hard to figure it all out." While the golf world focused on the LIV crisis, Spieth had another big reason to make headlines. The PGA Championship at Oakmont was just days away, and Spieth, winner of the Masters, US Open and the Open, was one major victory away from completing the career Grand Slam. "It would be amazing, right? Because it's a very, very short list in history," Spieth said about the possibility of becoming only the seventh player to achieve it. The elite group includes Gene Sarazen, Ben Hogan, Gary Player, Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, and Rory McIlroy, but Spieth downplayed the milestone and focused on his process. "As far as the career Grand Slam, this tournament has always been highlighted. If I can win one more tournament in my life, it would obviously be this one," he said. He then shared his unusual mindset. "The easiest way to do that is to try not to, in a weird way. Just go out there, get ready for the first hole, make a solid game plan, and attack it the way it needs to be attacked." Spieth hasn't won a major since the 2017 Open Championship, 9 long years. He hasn't won any tournament since 2022, but his form has been steadily improving with 4 finishes of T12 or better this season, including a T12 at the Masters. "My game has been getting better and better," he said. "It's plenty good enough to have a chance to win. It's about putting myself in contention." A win at the PGA Championship would not only complete his career Grand Slam, it would also add another layer to the LIV debate, as Spieth, one of the players who fought hardest against the Saudi-backed league, would stand on golf's biggest stage as a symbol of what the PGA Tour fought to protect. Meanwhile, the players who left and sued would be watching from the outside. The bombshell Jordan Spieth dropped at the Cadillac Championship wasn't a rant or an ultimatum. It was a simple but powerful question that PGA Tour leadership had been avoiding for months. Does it change for guys who sued and dropped their membership? That question now hangs over professional golf like a dark cloud. The Saudi PIF has withdrawn its funding. LIV Golf is on life support. The rebels who left for guaranteed hundreds of millions are now desperately looking for a way back. But the door is not wide open, not yet. Jon Rahm reportedly turned down the PGA Tour's return offer before the February deadline. He also refused to pay his DP World Tour fines. As a result, he is currently not eligible for the European Ryder Cup team. Bryson DeChambeau has openly admitted uncertainty about how welcome he will be. Cameron Smith turned down the return offer and his contract runs until 2027. Phil Mickelson, the first big name to defect, missed the return window by less than a year. The door, according to the PGA Tour, may not reopen easily. The room Jordan Spieth is relieved he's not sitting in, the room where the future of these players will be decided, is about to become very crowded. The decisions made there will shape professional golf for the next several decades. Spieth has done his job. He asked the difficult question no one else wanted to ask. Now the ball is in the PGA Tour's court. The reckoning is coming, and Jordan Spieth just rang the bell.